Hello Aries, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and today I'm going to be doing your February 2023 monthly check-in reading for you. So if you're new to my channel, what I like to do is I like to pull one major arcana to see the energy and then clarify with a different deck. So what's going on for the sign of Aries? What do we need to know for you? One more shuffle. All right. We have the moon. So some sort of deception, trickery, deceit, energy. Now, remember, the moon can represent insanity, right? But it can also represent the darkness before the daylight. It is like peak darkness. And you're wandering around the woods, you're not sure what to do. What you need to do is you need to focus on your goal right here. What is your goal? And don't allow any of this, naysaying, this spiritual negativity that you're feeling to block you from your goal. All right? Now, the moon can also represent a very painful time period as well, because it does represent a mother about to give birth, like going through the contractions, like the baby isn't born yet. When the baby is born, that's representation of the sun. The pain, the agony, the misery of giving birth to the baby is the moonlight energy. It's represented by Revelation, when the woman stood on the moon. She was cloaked with the sun and she had the crown of stars and she was giving birth to a child. That's what the moon represents. It's important to understand that, I say it a lot, tarot is biblical, all right? If you want to understand your tarot cards, you're going to have to read the Torah and the New Testament, because all of it is from that. So what do we need to know about this moonlight energy? What's going on for you? And during that time period when the woman was standing on the moon, it was a very terrible period because she's giving birth and then this dragon is coming out to consume her child. And so she's looking at imminent danger, but she's feeling pain at the same time. And that's what you have to understand about the moon. It's like there's a dangerous situation that's very treacherous, but you're in a lot of pain and you're kind of like, what do I do right here? Because what do you do if it's a concept of, in that movie where you couldn't make a sound, otherwise the alien creatures would eat you? That's what that is. She's trying to give birth in the bathtub and that alien creature is like in the house trying to, find her. And she has to give birth like basically in complete and total quiet. But like that whole scene is very like scary, right? So that's kind of what the moonlight energy is. And it's important to understand that a lot of movie scenes, a lot of books and a lot of things like that, pretty much based off of tarot cards. If you go and listen to a lot of songs are talking about, you're the light of my life, like the sun, or I was hidden in the moonlight. It's kind of like, just pay attention to the mystery. So one more shuffle about the Revelations Tarot. What do we need to know for you? You have the High Priestess, Intuition, Five of Cups reversed, the Temperance upright. You need to look back on your life right here. Hindsight is 20/20, okay? If you know then what you know now, would you make the same choices that led you up to this point? Probably not. Okay? So your goal is to look at the sadness with the Five of Cups in reverse and say, you know what? I understand that the sadness is here, but I'm going to look behind me and see that the Temperance card is alchemizing with those two cups, turning the water and oil into fire, right? And handing them off to me with the Five of Cups, because as you can see, she's holding the two cups that the Temperance gives her. She's saying, I'm not going to just take things that feel comfortable. I'm going to allow things to come into my life that are divinely aligned for me. And here's the thing about a divine alignment. It doesn't have red flags to it, okay? And it doesn't come at a time period of, well, I'm just going to take it because, that's the only thing that I have. No, you take it because it's the best thing that is being offered to you and probably the best thing that you're ever going to have within your life. The Temperance is not something that comes with a lot of negativity because it's an angel card. It's not the devil, all right? And maybe that's what you've done a lot, Aries, is that you've taken things that you probably shouldn't have because you may have thought out of desperation that those were the things that were right for you. And here's the thing. You can't blame anyone for that. A lot of people, when they're extremely desperate in life, they just accept things because they think, well, I've been praying, this is what's coming. It's not like the best thing. It's kind of like, a little bit shady. But, people say God works in mysterious ways. God's not going to give you anything like that, okay? God's going to send you divine intervention with the temperance energy. God's going to send you an actual angel. So let's look at this High Priestess energy. You have Judgment, Six of Grails. Yeah, you're facing the Judgment because of something that was handed off to you because you thought it was good. The Judgment is now being passed down to you, and that is why you have to go into that reflection mode of the High Priestess. Was that situation something that was just a past cycle that you had to overcome within your life? Did you accept something that you knew probably wasn't good for you, but you took it because you thought it was divine alignment? Five of Cups. Three of Scepters, Ace of Skulls. It's coming in, something that's tangible for you, something that will really help you out. But it might not seem like it's going to help you out. That's the thing. You might not understand why this is going to help you out, but I feel like it's very critical for you. Temperance, Chariot, Victory, Eight of Cups, allowing you to walk away. And that's what you have to understand sometimes, is that in the Eight of Cups, she's missing 2 cups, right? The Eight of Cups isn't a bad card, it's just not a complete 10. It's a solid foundation, but you're like, it's not really that great, just like what I was saying, that it's not amazing, it's a little bit shady, it's not perfect. You have the Five of Cups because you're walking away to go and find those 2 cups, right? So your victory is walking away from that thing that seemed shady and going towards that angel that has the 2 cups and then accepting them with the 5 of Cups. That is the victory of the Chariot card. You have the Moon coming out with the 5 of Wands and the 2 of Scepters. The Moon wants you to stay there and fight with it. The Moon wants you to be consumed with anxiety and treachery instead of walking away and going on a new path. The Moon wants you to stay there and feel bound to this situation. Okay? Now, granted, the Moon is the Divine Mother. That's why it is the Divine Mother, from that Revelation story. She is standing on the Moon giving birth. That represents divine mothership, right? She does care about you, but at the same time, it's a lesson. It's a lesson of, can you walk away from something? The Emperor, the Queen of Skulls, and the 10 of Pentacles. Here's the thing, the 10 of Pentacles is a full 10, all right? The Emperor coming out with the Queen of Pentacles represents you're elevating yourself, you're going to like this boss energy, right? You are able to receive this gift from this Ace of Pentacles right here to turn it into the 10 of Pentacles for yourself. You're basically able to turn the water into wine. Or turning lemons into lemonade. You have the Tower, the 5 of Swords, and the Sun. Facing the destruction and allowing yourself to feel the defeat of the 5 of Swords is the victory for you, though. Because that is you being reborn. The 6 of Pentacles, the Lord of Knives, the High Priestess. You're being given a very sharp, definitive answer to a situation with the High Priestess. Hindsight 2020. Okay, You have Six of Wands coming out in victory. So here's what I'm feeling for you right now. Say, and this applies to anyone, this is not just for what I'm about to say. Listen, even if you've always been a sober person. Okay? Say you were a drug addict. And I'm getting 3 things for you. Drug addiction, Titanic, and the calm before the, or not the calm before the storm, but when it rains, it pours. All right? So say you're a drug addict and you finally decide you want to get clean. So you get clean. Maybe you're in a homestay, halfway house, whatever. You're like, you know what, it's time for me to get a good job. I'm going to get that apartment, whatever. So you go and start doing that. You get a job. You're working really good. You're working really hard. You know, you're waking up on time. You're eating right. You're not on drugs. You know, maybe you even bought your boss some coffee. You know, you're doing just a really, really good job, right? And then all of a sudden, it gets taken away from you. Right? It just gets taken away. And you're like, why? And so out of desperation, out of like feeling like terrible, why would my boss fire me? What's going on? Why is this happening to me? You're feeling the depression, you're feeling the pain and the anxiety of like, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do this? I shouldn't have got this apartment, blah, blah, blah. And you romanticize the past. I remember when I was on drugs, things were a lot better. I was at that halfway house. I didn't have a care in the world. Because that can happen a lot of times. You start romanticizing the past, romancing. So your life falls apart because you go back into that same drug cycle, right? Same thing happens. You go to that halfway house. You're like, I need to get clean again. You know, whatever. You get your apartment going. You get a good job. You know, whatever happens. And then you meet someone and your life falls apart again. It's this constant feeling of destruction, right? It's this constant, I only get so far before things fall apart. But here's the thing, though. The Titanic sank, right? So if the Titanic sank, you still have the possibility of getting on that life raft and not going down with the ship. That would be like you saying, oh, well, this Titanic was so beautiful, let me go down with the ship, or getting on the life raft and saving yourself. It's not as glamorous. It's cold. It's miserable. But all of a sudden, you know, you have these other ships coming to your rescue to bring you out of that situation, right? A lot of people fell asleep in the water. A lot of people just said, hey, you know, we can't get out. Let's just die as a family, whatever. Going into that story of the when it rains, it pours. Imagine you're in your car, right? And you're doing fine. And it's snowing. It's not too bad. You see a gas station, you're like, oh, gosh, I finally see civilization. Maybe your phone doesn't work, it doesn't have any signal. Car breaks down. And you get out of your car, you're like, well, I have to get there. I don't have any signal, I'm going to freeze in this car. You start walking, you're near the gas station, it starts to, you know, be a blizzard, right? And it's really easy for you to just say, well, just lay down and go back to sleep. Just lay down, and, you know, it's bad. You're not going to make it anyway. Just go to sleep. Die of hypothermia. It'll be all right. Because when you're going through really bad situations, it's really easy to go into, like, you know, suicidal thoughts, suicidal depression. If I died today, whatever, right? That's not good, and that you should never go into that. You should think, okay, well, here it is. Here's the storm. Here's the actual blizzard now. But you decide to actually get to the gas station. You say, you know what? No, I'm going to get to that gas station. You get to the gas station, right? That's the victory. You get your help. You get your car fixed. You're okay. You know, and it could be that the power grid went down where you were going. Like maybe you're going back to your house and it was super freezing cold and a lot of people, you know, were freezing inside of their houses. You know, maybe it was actually really bad there. Maybe the angel was guiding you here, even though it was really painful, because it was actually a better situation than where you were headed towards. That's that high priestess energy. It's like maybe the next day when you finally realize, like, you know, you spent the night at the gas station, it's warm, whatever, you hear on the news, oh, water pipes burst, oh, everything froze, people were found, you know, dead inside of their homes, blah, blah, blah. The angels prepare you for cycles, right? They prepare you for tragedies within your life. But when the tragedy hits, it's really easy to feel alone. It's really easy to feel like there's no one else to help you, because here's the thing, the angels are not supposed to help you during that time period. They're not. They're supposed to prepare you and get you out of that situation when the time comes, but you have to do a lot of the work, right? You have to go through the feelings, you have to feel the pain, you have to, you know, wrestle with the angels. That's what it is. The angel can train you all day long, but when you have to step in the ring with that angel, the angel is going to beat you up, and you're going to have to, you know, fight with that. Now, they'll protect you and they'll take care of you afterwards, but they're still going to have to fight you for that situation that you want. This is kind of like, maybe this has happened multiple times within your life. You got that tiny piece of the pie. You're like, it's not the biggest piece of the pie, but I got this tiny little slice right here. And you're like sitting there, you're taking tiny little bites, enjoying every little piece of it, right? And all of a sudden the angel takes it away and tells you to spit it out. And you're like, why? And all of a sudden, you know, the angel's like really mean to you, whatever the situation is. And your goal is to deal with that situation, to not, you know, cry, not fret, you know, whatever the situation is. It's to just deal with that situation. And then afterwards, the angel hands you an entire piece, or an entire pie. The full piece, the full thing. It gives you a piece, it takes it away, and it gives you the full 10. Because the angel was preparing you for, can you go through this cycle? You know, like that drug addiction analogy. When things do not go your way, are you going to go into drugs again? Are you going to lose everything that you've worked for? Because you still have your apartment, you still have things going on, you're just feeling the anxiety of, what am I going to do next? The angel wants you to sit there inside of that anxiety and really work through those emotions. Are you going to go back to the devil? Are you going to, you know, go back to your old habits? Are you going to lose everything again? And I feel like it's because you accept the things that are just, you know, handed off to you. You accept the first thing that comes your way. But when it's taken away from you, what do you do next? Five of Cups. You look at the sadness and the Fool, and you walk away from it for a new beginning, a blank slate. The angel prepares you for all of these scenarios. It wants to see if you can overcome this thing. Are you going to sink? Are you going to fall asleep in the snow? Or are you going to deal with this situation to reach the sunlight? Are you going to deal with the pain and go through the destruction of whatever this is and feel everything out to reach the sunlight? Just because the angel is an angel doesn't mean that, and you know, it's good for you. It is a perfect being. It's created by God, right? It is a being that is sent to help you, but at the same time, it is meant to prepare you for a battle, prepare you for a situation. I kind of feel like right here, Aries, it's all about looking back on your past and seeing, have you ever felt like this before? Have you ever felt tragedy and pain and despair? And have you destroyed your life over that? Or have you sat there and felt every single thing and said, this time, I'm going to get to that light? Instead of going back to your old ways, instead of destroying yourself, instead of going into that self-sabotage behavior. Because I feel like if you look back on your life, this is a cycle that maybe you've dealt with multiple times. Look at your relationships. Have they all kind of been the same way? Has every breakup led you to absolute despair? Has it crushed you? Has it made you lose things? Has it made you lose friends and families and all of that other stuff? This cycle right here is like you went through the Wheel of Fortune, right? You went through the cycle, and the Wheel of Fortune has to drop you off at the bottom, or you're facing the bottom. Are you going to still hold on, or are you going to fall off? No, you're going to still hold on. Even though it's very hard to hold on, you still have to hold on until it brings you up to the top and says, you completed that cycle, good job. Here is your reward. The Wheel of Fortune. Seven of Knives coming out with the Death card. You have to be clever with this ending right here. Okay? Be very clever and look at the pain. Look at the situation. Your angels could not help you. They were, taking the thing away, but you have to rely on yourself. Everything that they've taught you, everything that they trained you for, everything, the situation tells you to do. How do you deal with that situation? Okay? You have to be clever. You have to be more clever and face this ending, because people are not going to face the ending. A lot of people will go through the same cycles over and over and over in life. You ever just met someone who dates someone, they break up, they get back together, they fight, they break up, they get back together, and they do this for like 30 years? Instead of just facing the pain and saying, block, 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 get away from me, nope, changing my life, getting through this situation, I'm going to heal, I'm going to go through this shadow work, because this is a lot of shadow work right here. This is a lot of intuition. Looking back and saying, oh, this is the red flag every single time my life's fallen apart. This is the critical point. Whenever it gets this bad, I always give up, but this time it's gotten that bad, and this time I'm not going to. This time I'm not going to accept, because I'm going through a really bad breakup, just a random person who comes into my inbox and says, hey, I love you, I want to go out on a date with you, I've always loved you. Nope, 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 you got to do that healing work. It's not going to be that first job that comes that way that's, just a little McDonald's station that is not going to work out. It's not just going to be, this really tiny thing that reaches out and just helps you for that time period. No, it's going to be the Ten of Pentacles. This is going to be something that you want to do, at least, that you feel called to do, but not accepting things from the devil, not going back. You have compassion, you have prosperity. Be kind with yourself. Maybe you go and you hate yourself. Like when you get fired from a job and you're at an at-will state and they just don't tell you. You're like, well, what did I do wrong? What did I do? I did everything right. And you start beating yourself up over it. It's like, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not this enough, I'm not that. No, it's because the laws are fucking stupid. They don't have to give you a reason. They can just fire you. They can work you doubles, triples during the holiday season, and as soon as January 1st comes by, they can go, bye. That's it. It's not you. Persecution with Badger, you're persecuting yourself. Crab, retreat. Don't do that. Accept this retreat. Accept this as saying, hey, you know what? If you have a break right here, instead of going into, this panic frenzy, instead of reaching out to people or just accepting things that go into your inbox, because I know when you break up, sometimes people have their heart races. They feel really bad anxiety. They're like, oh, who's that person going out with? Why are they going out with them? What's wrong with me? Why, blah, 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 right? Human emotions. And so you start going into that panic mode of looking at who you can talk to try to get you out of that. No, it's saying, feel that pain, because life is not all about happiness. Life is about pain, despair, sadness, grief, melancholy, all of those things. Just like it's filled with joy, happiness, laughter, love. It's that scales, the balance. there is always an up and there's always a down. So it's also the concept of the Wheel of Fortune. Earth magic, reflect on it, as I said, with that High Priestess energy. Think about it. And your earth magic, focus on eating right, taking care of yourself, you know. Instead of going and destroying yourself, trying to dress up pretty, go meet that person at a bar who you don't know and trying to get one up on whatever this situation is and beating yourself up and persecuting yourself and whatever the situation is, let it go. You've that's the whole point, Aries, is to complete the cycle. That's the whole point, is to feel the Five of Swords. That's the destruction right there, just saying, okay, goodbye. And then as soon as you say goodbye, as soon as you accept that, that's when the moon goes away. That's when the sun comes out. Hagalaz, destruction, damage, distress, setback, spiritual meaning, inner crisis, doubt, and transformation. Yeah, Hagalaz is hail, that blizzard energy. When it rains, it hails. Take a step back from the situation. So we lose strength, success in all ventures, good health, and speedy recovery. Spider, community, and web weaving. Graveyard, unnecessary fear. The fear is unnecessary, okay? The fear that you're feeling, all of that, the disruption, the despair, it's an unnecessary thing. It's there to tempt you, okay? That's the whole point. The fear is there so you destroy your own self, okay? Community and web weaving for you. I would say focus on the people who are around you, the people who want to reach out, the people who want to help you. And I'm talking about help like friends and family. Don't go, you know, a person says, oh, I've always liked you, I would like to help you out during this. No, fuck that. This is more or less accepting what is coming towards you, okay? Accepting the offers with the temperance energy. Accepting the help that is being offered to you by the angels. Because here's the thing. The angels want you to walk away from this to them, going through that destruction, because as soon as you turn around and walk away, the tower strikes that thing. You're walking through this really dark alley, but you see the angel, you see that light. What is there to fear? Other than the fact that it's like walking through the valley of the shadow of death. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Yeah. What do you have to fear? It's unnecessary. I will fear no evil. Community and web weaving. This is a Masonic imagery card. I don't really know the meaning behind it. That's the problem. I know the beehive meaning, but I don't really know the community web weaving. This could be, you understand, it's kind of like Charlotte's Web. How everything is interconnected. If you look back on your past, you will see how everything interconnects with something. And it could even be like all of the destruction that you face within your life is like everyone knew one another. And that could be that weird situation, is like the situation was that you were around these people who always knew each other, and maybe they didn't even have any intentions to actually harm you. It's just that you were in that cycle. So I kind of feel like you need to pay attention to everyone's group of friends, who they hang out with. What jobs do they have? That kind of situation. Be more aware of your surroundings. So anyway, Aries, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'll talk to you later.